There are several costs you need to budget for when purchasing a business in New Zealand, in addition to the purchase price of that actual business. Let's take a look at them. Number 1. Transfer duty on business assets. Fortunately, there is no transfer duty payable on the transfer of real or personal property, including shares, in New Zealand, and there is no capital duty on the issue of shares. Stamp duty was abolished in respect of instruments executed after 20th of May 1999. Number 2. GST. If the business is not running or closes prior to settlement, it will no longer be considered a going concern, and GST will apply to the purchase price. So the seller will have to pay 15% of the purchase price to the tax office, unless the contract specifically states the purchase price is GST exclusive. Where the contract is GST exclusive and GST does actually apply, then the buyer pays the GST, but can claim it back in their first business activity statement. To get the concession, both buyer and seller must be registered for GST. The contract must specifically say the sale is of a going concern, and the seller must sell everything that is necessary to run the business. Number 3. Lease costs. The seller is responsible for payment of the landlord's costs in consenting to the lease assignment and gaining mortgagee consent. The buyer will be responsible for replacing the bank guarantee, which is generally the sum of 3 months' rent. Number 4. Stock. Unless the business is purchased as a walk-in, walk-out, which means you get absolutely everything as part of the purchase price, then in any other occasion you will have to do a stock take the night before or the day of settlement, so that the buyer can pay the seller for the value of stock that will be provided with the business. Number 5. Ongoing contracts. If the seller has entered into the contracts for equipment, then the buyer will either need to take over these arrangements and assign the agreements, or replace those items if they will be returned to the supplier, for example, a coffee machine rental agreement. This may require a bond to the supplier or a capital outlay to replace the equipment. Number 6. Employee costs. Depending on what special conditions are drafted into the agreement, you may need to be conscious of clauses that involve employee entitlements. Some contracts may provide that the seller is only responsible for a certain percentage of the employee entitlements at the date of settlement, and that this amount is adjusted on settlement figures. Number 7. Legal and accounting fees. It is important to budget an amount for both a lawyer and for an accountant, whether you are buying or selling. Number 8. Business broker fees. Where the seller is using a broker, it is likely that the business brokerage fees have been added into the purchase price, so that the buyer will not pay these directly, but they are in one way or another still paying for the broker. Number 9. Licenses and other fees. There may be other costs such as application fees for food safety licenses or transfer of other licenses. It is a good idea to prepare a business plan and budget for your business banker so that they can see you have considered all costs plus working capital requirements.